So the business lesson was looking for the leverage point. That's kind of my deal. Every business I looked at, it's like, where can we leverage? And I love the whole topic of the Wi-Fi entrepreneur, Rob, because I think, so many times we can become slaves to our businesses. So I think the lifestyle entrepreneur concept is so great. And I think every single time we started a business, Mario and I would get better and better at, making sure that we wove our life, our life came first and the business came second. And I think that's kind of one of the principles of what you're talking about. So I think it's a good fit.
What were you doing before? Like, you got an MA in international business, is that right? And then what were you doing before you started your first business?
So, well, actually, to be honest, I grew up in an entrepreneurial household, Rod. My father was an entrepreneur from the get-go. He went in the early days from shooting squirrel for dinner, really, at a place where they were needing for him to create some successes, all the way to building multiple businesses. So I knew that I was unemployable. I think I was in high school and college, but so I went straight from undergrad into master's to get my master's in international business, because I knew that I wanted to play a big game. I knew that I wanted to work on a global level. And so, really, literally, I came straight out of my master's in business, and I met Mario, my now husband of 31 years. I met him doing my thesis, actually. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to have fun. Like, I need an outlet. He was from Ecuador. He's, really, a remarkable person. And I didn't even think I was going to fall in love, but I did my senior year. And so we were partners in business before we were married. So I went straight from my master's in business right into entrepreneurship, and took the $5,000 that I talk about starting that first business was actually supposed to be my engagement ring.
Wow.
I know. So instead of a ring, I got a business, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
On the business side, the lesson was that you have to build a business that's not dependent upon you in the center. I think, just intuitively, because I was capable, because I was so motivated, because I was so committed, a lot of what that business was in the first 2 years was really focused on me. And I remember my dad, remember the consummate entrepreneur. I remember he came to California. They were from Ohio, and he was staying in our apartment at the time. And I remember he saw me, crazy making, just doing everything. I think I was even delivering product at that time. And I remember he said, pulled me aside, and he was really sort of, let's look at your business plan. I was like, well, first of all, even though I have a master's in business, I didn't have a business plan. So that was number one, Dad. And secondly, he really helped me see that I was going to be miserable for the rest of my life if I didn't create leverage. So the business lesson was looking for the leverage point. That's kind of my deal. Every business I looked at, it was like, where can we leverage? So Rod, I met you at an event that we were just at, the New Media Summit, and I did, that 2-minute pitch. And it's a story that I've never told it so succinctly, but the lesson that I learned the first time around is that you've got to weave your life into the business. And the story that I tell is, things were going really well. We were, so this was about 12 years into the business. We sold it at 13 years, but we were 12 years into the business. Huge team, owned a building, all of the, from the outside, it looked awesome. Life was going well. And I think we're at 2.5 million at the time. And the truth of the matter was that behind the scenes, I was an absolute wreck. And Mario and I had been, building our business together, and the marriage was completely devoid of anything smacking of being a husband and wife. It was on the rocks, even talking about divorce. And I just had my son, so my son was really young, and he was spending most of the day with a nanny, which broke my heart. And my health was a wreck. And so just, we can get so caught up in the dream, especially when you're doing, it can happen. You can lose yourself in your business when things are going bad because you're so rocked with worry and fear and doubt. But you can also lose yourself when things are going well, because there's so much demand for you. And so I told the story, from stage. I made a really important decision, and I sold the business and kept the marriage. I will always say no to an opportunity if it doesn't resonate with me in terms of my ideal client. The quality of our life, especially as coaches, consultants, experts of any kind, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your clients. Because you spend so much time with them. It's about just trusting, even though sometimes it takes a while, just trusting that those people will show up and they'll be willing to pay what you're charging because you're so resonant, and also because people really respect other, especially coaches and consultants. People want to know that you're living your truth. Otherwise, why would they want to work with us if everything is smoke and mirrors? And you know what? I think one of the traits that I think is just so remarkable is appreciation. I look for appreciation in my clients. I say hands down the most important thing is to be really clear about the vision that you're going for. So sometimes I think in this world of Wi-Fi entrepreneurs, people think of like being off to Bali, right? Or Costa Rica, or we certainly go to Hawaii about 3 times a year. But the other piece is also my mom is 90 and she just celebrated her 90th birthday, and she had a health scare before then. She's just had another health scare. So I can pick up and go. I think I went to my mom to be with her for six times last year. She's in Florida. And so the value of a lifestyle entrepreneur where you're able to pick up and work from anywhere, it's not just for the fun and the glamour of travel. It's also that I can be there. So it's funny. I mean, I don't like the Webster's definition of leverage. It's not at all adequate. So I'll give you mine. That is, in business, it's creating the greatest return for the least amount of effort. And so leverage for an entrepreneur is essential because that's what's going to get you out of the job where you're trapped and everything relies on you. So there's all sorts of different ways to leverage. Some of the earlier things for you to do, well, it's really 3 things. So the first one is to build a support team. And I have a couple little bit of tools I can share on that. But building a support team is super, super important. The second thing is to automate the delivery of your genius. So in other words, it's not just way beyond the one-on-one, is have some ways for people to experience your work without it requiring your time. So that's strategy number 2, is to automate the delivery of your genius. And third is to systematize the sales process. We do a weekly recap. So if I were to say one thing that I think has transformed my team and the teams of my clients is every single week, even if they're an independent contractor, any vendor who's worked for you from some fashion over the week, they do a weekly recap. And it's 4 basic questions. It comes to you on a Sunday. You need to have it in your inbox. It's one of the requirements of working with us. And then on Sunday evening, when I'm doing kind of my planning for the week and looking over what's on my plate, I'm looking at these recaps of every single team member. It tells me, are they being productive? Is there something they need from me that they're not getting? Is there a block that they're experiencing that I can help them through? And most importantly, Rod, what they do at the end of that report for me is they say, here's what my priorities are for the week. And literally in about 40 minutes, I can manage and overlook all of my team members, see where they're on track. I shoot it back to them via email, high-fiving and rock star and yays on all the stuff that's going well, giving them what they need if they're missing something, and then adjusting the priorities if for some reason maybe a project has changed. That weekly communication with my team, where they've told me what where they're celebrating, where have they completed, and where they're focusing on. I tell you, I save hours and hours in the week. They feel supported. They feel clear. And as a digital nomad is another word I think sometimes that's used for this. You can't be constantly micromanaging your team. That's part of the freedom that you want to have. And so putting these kinds of things in place to be able to easily manage your team in a 45-minute period every Sunday evening and rock in the week with clarity and their confidence. So to me, that would be one of my tips for creating that team leverage piece. So it's, I remember the first time I hired a life coach, his first question to me was, are you living a satisfying life? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm living a satisfying life, but I'm so not here for satisfying. I'm here for amazing.
Great.
The tool that I want to share, if they go to Rock Your Biz Quiz, so rockyourbizquiz.com, and it's about a 4-minute process. So they're going to go and they're basically what I have you do is I've broken the assessment into 5 different sections. And these are 5 sections that really find out where you are in your business. And so you're gonna assess on a scale of 1 to 10, are you rocking this particular piece? And don't feel bad if there's certain places where you're scoring yourself at the level 2 or 3. This is nothing more than an FYI that this might be one of the missing pieces that's keeping your business from growing. So in the end, they'll get a scoring, and so each section has a score. So that gives you where are the places that you're really rocking it, where you're solid, and then where are the places that you really may need to pay some attention to get to that next level.